What's going on, everybody? This is your favorite podcast now. You've already listened to episode one or seen it on YouTube. Episode one was fantastic. We had a lot of fun. It is your favorite host, Big Mike, and I'm here with the man, Scott Armstrong. What's up, brother?
Big Mike, what's happening, baby?
Oh,
Another
man.
good week. A lot of good feedback off episode one. I appreciate the all the fun we had.
Man, I love doing this. I love everything about it. But things
Yeah.
have been going good, man. How's life in heaven in Pensacola?
Oh, heavenly. It's it's been really hot. I down here with the salt air. The people buy the grill and have it on the back porch, right? Well, down here with salt air, I live fairly close to the water, and it just eats up your grill. And about I haven't even been that at home that much over the years, but it seemed like every 3 years for like Father's Day, I'd get a new grill because my other one had rusted out. And so I told my wife, I said, you know what? I want one of those grills like they have when you go to the state park or when you go to the beach, and it's the grill. The one I'm talking about when you go to the state park and there's that grill, and it's
It's
been there since you were a kid when you went with your mom and dad and your grandparents. It's been there since your grandparents were kids. I said, I want one of those grills because it will last forever. She laughed so hard at me, and I ordered one. And literally took the post hole. She was at work, and I took the post hole diggers and dug the big hole and went to Lowe's and got the $5 bag of Quickcrete or whatever that's called. Hey, there's a sponsor right there, Quickcrete. And so I put the I put it all to got it and put it all together, and the level, and let it set. Oh, dude, I have cooked on that thing 50 times. I love it. And she laughs at me every time. Soon you got to be kidding me. You out there fantasizing you're at the state park? And I said, yes. I said, girl, we live in Florida, but right now, I was doing that yesterday. It was so hot. Oh man, brutally hot. But hey, get the charcoal lit up, put it out there, come back in the house for a little bit. She told me, quit coming in and out of this house. You're letting all the air out. I just started laughing because I thought about how many times my mom and dad said the exact same thing over the years.
yeah.
But
I
anyway,
have
yeah, it's really warm in Picola.
it's hot in Georgia too. It was a high. I think today was supposed to be like 101. Tomorrow's like 103
Oh, yeah,
and
it's tough.
humid because it's actually
Yeah.
where I'm sitting right now. It is raining
Oh, wow. Yeah.
outside, so
Well,
it's
that's
humid. It's
living on the coast, man. It's you just know it's going to be hot all day in the summertime. It's going to rain about 2 or 3 o'clock, although it's not raining right now, and thank goodness. But anyway, but it does it almost every day. You get the hour shower is what I call it, and then it moves through, and then it's
yep,
even hotter.
yep.
But hey, man, I'll pay the price for where I live. I
I
love
know that's right.
it.
Me and my wife have been together for 10 years, and the one place she's always wanted to move is the Gulf Coast.
Yeah. Hey,
Ever
man.
since I've known her, and I grew up in a family that didn't go to the beach. I think I seen the beach twice in my entire childhood, and I married her, and we go every year,
Yeah.
twice a year sometimes. And now she's got to where I'm like, okay, now how do I get down there? What kind of
Yeah.
job do I need to do?
Right. It's heaven. Hey, look, I live where I live. It's very touristy, so it's a lot of tourist dollars from what is it? What's the first end of May? Is that's Memorial Day? Is that Memorial Day
That's
or Labor?
Memorial
And
Day weekend. Yep,
to Labor Day, and that's like the first weekend of September,
yep. Hmm.
and so it's huge. And then the Blue Angels, Pensacola's the cradle of naval aviation and the home of the Blue Angels, and so they do a big show like the second week, not July 4th weekend, but the next week. They usually do a big show, and it's Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. They fly every day. Like they practice, and then two big shows. Dude, you can't squeeze another car on Pensacola Beach. It's crazy. And but look, the tourist dollars are where it's at, and so then second week, first week of September, tourist season's over and everybody goes home and leaves that beautiful sugar white sand and, man, beautiful weather. It's because it's beautiful down here through October, sometimes into November before it
Yeah.
ever gets cool. Anyway, I could talk about it all day, and anybody that knows me will know I will.
All I want to know is there a good crab leg restaurant around there? Because that's what I want.
There's actually on Pensacola Beach. There's a restaurant called Crabs, and their T-shirt says "Crabs, we got them,"
Oh man.
and they do. It's
Uh,
not my go-to. My go-to is Peg Leg Pete's on Pensacola Beach. There's another sponsor plug. Peg Leg Pete's is literally the best, in my opinion. And I've lived here a long time, but it's the best. You can walk in there wearing a tux, or walk in wearing sandy flip flops and shorts and a tank top, and man, it's just heaven and a good place to eat. But
well,
anyway,
I may be coming down there soon with the wife. You've been talking up Pensacola, so we've been looking.
heck yes, man.
I'm trying to
It's
find
heaven.
us a place to stay right now.
It's heaven. It is heaven.
But no, into the show, man. We've spent a little bit 6 minutes talking about the beach, and but we could keep going, especially
Yeah.
talking about seafood. I would have kept going because that's hence the Big Mike.
Yeah.
But no, moving along, man. In last episode, we had discussed that you had went to WrestleCon out at WrestleMania week, and that kind of led into the beginning phases of what we have going now with the
Yes.
podcast, and we'll tell our listeners, our viewers, and give them the whole story, how it happened.
So, my brother and I were part of the big January release from WWE, from the NXT brand, about 15 people at that time, and we were two of the 15. And so, um, we'd been there a little bit, and so you finally come home and realize what's next, because I didn't feel like I was done, and I knew he didn't either. And so, just at home trying to kind of get it all together, figure it out, think about the indies and getting some things put together. Talk to a TV producer about he's planning on doing a show, and my brother and I talked to him. And so anyway, my brother calls me one day and says, "Hey, Scotty, you got to come do WrestleCon." And I said, I didn't even know what that was. And I said, "Dude, what is that?" He said, "WrestleMania week. They're in Dallas. It's in Dallas, and there'll be a big, huge setup and wrestlers that we've known throughout our entire careers." And so he said, "You got to come be a part of it." And I just said, "Okay." And he said, we'll split a room." And so we did. And it ended up being so much fun. And I got to see, wrestlers, male and female, that I have not seen. It's funny how the wrestling business is. You run into people, you wrestle or in the territory with them, or in the, in the company or whatever, and then you go your separate ways. Somebody may get released, or somebody may take a job with another company. And then the next time you see each other, it's like that cousin that you have that you go, "Oh, hey, what have you been doing, man?" And that's exactly how the wrestling business is. And so to be able to see and, run into Brooke Adams, just to throw a name out there, hadn't seen Brooke Adams in I don't even know how long. And she jumped on the elevator with me and my brother at WrestleCon. Oh my God. I mean, I was younger, but she was just a young girl when I knew her. And now she's a grown woman and doing great. And it's just so cool to be a part of all that. But anyway, so I'm at WrestleCon, and I think I'd said last time, people didn't even realize that I was a wrestler. They just thought I was a referee. And so a couple of people mentioned, "Oh yeah, you wrestled." Yes, I did. But everybody knew me from being a referee and doing the stuff with Hunter and Daniel Bryan, and the crooked referee storyline, and which is a whole nother episode we can do. But
Yes, it is.
But all of a sudden, Dwayne Bell, who I'd worked on the Indies with, I, I don't even know, 20 years ago, at least, um, walks up and goes, Scott. And I went, Dwayne, oh my. So all that happened at Wrestlecon. Now, Dwayne lives in Georgia, where you live. And Dwayne is at Wrestlecon in Dallas. And we just happened to run into each other. And he says, oh my, it's just like I told you in the last episode, everything in the wrestling business is timing.
Yep.
That's the truth. Because here I am, talking about what the next move is. And he goes, I've got this new network, IWN, the Independent Wrestling Network. And he said, we're putting together an app where you'll be able to go on the app and do bookings and see wrestlers and where they are and what they're. And he said, it's going to be really, really cool. And he said, I'd love for you to be a part of it. And I said, well, I hadn't seen him in 20 years. I don't know if he's been in jail for 20 years. I don't know if he's the president of a corporation. I have no clue. So I said, well, let me give you my number and we'll talk about it. So I didn't commit to anything right then. Well, then the more he and I talked, he said, look, I'm going to run some independent shows. Would you like to come do one of those with me? I said, yeah, I'd be happy to. And so he runs, as you know, but our listeners probably don't. He runs Lovejoy, Georgia every 2 weeks. And he's got a big show in July in Thomaston, Georgia, at the Civic Center with a lot of superstars. But anyway, he said he's to come be a part of the show. And so, yeah, man. So I literally make the drive from Pensacola to Lovejoy and can't find the building. And I call him twice. And it's literally such a reminder of how it used to be when I was first breaking into the business, because, there was no MapQuest. There was no anything to do with the Google Maps. There was no Google Earth. There was none of that. And you just pull up in the gas station and go, hey, where are they having the wrestling matches at? And so that's exactly how it was. And so I called Dwayne and said, hey, man, I can't find this place. And I'm using the maps and I'm using Waze, the app Waze. I've used everything and I can't find this place. And he said, well, I'll tell you what, hold on a minute. Let me call Big Mike. And Big Mike will walk down to the street and you'll see him and pull it. I said, okay, now please know I have no clue who Big Mike is or what he looks like. And all of a sudden, here I come down the street and there you are standing right there at the edge of the road. And I start smiling and see you and you wave. And I parked my car, and that's how we met, you and I.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
And then we just started shooting the breeze and talking about wrestling. And next thing you know, I don't think you brought up a podcast that show, because I ended up doing a few shows every 2 weeks for him.
Mm-hmm.
And then you said, hey, would you be interested in a podcast? And I had just done the one for my brother and got really good reviews. And like I said, calls from friends and old wrestlers saying, man, that was fun to listen to. And when, look, John Cone is a former referee for WWE, but a really good friend and still in the offices of WWE. And I got a call from him and he said, Scott, that was so fun to listen to. As I'd listened to you as I listened to your brother's podcast and I heard you and to get that phone call was like, wow, man, thank you. You know what I mean? And it wasn't just John. I got a number of phone calls like that. So when you said, you want to do a podcast? And I went, yeah, sure.
I'll be honest with you, man. I didn't think you were going to be okay. I didn't think you were going to be down for it. I said, I went to Dwayne. I said, hey, man, I got this idea. Dwayne brought me in the fold to do podcasting with him. He was trying to get this app going, and he knew that, I was the guy in his area that knew
Right.
wrestling and knew podcasting. And So I came in to do that. And then it went from, okay, you're doing podcasting. Well, now we're doing independent shows. I need you to book too. Well, I need you to build the graphics for it too. Well, I need you to do this too. Well,
Yeah.
and next thing you know, I'm just like, hey, buddy, I think Scott would do. I think me and Scott could do something. There's something there, man. He's
Yeah,
got
it's fun.
dang near 40 years in the business. Stories out the ass. We could really. There's something there, man. And I had mentioned it to him earlier, and then he was like, he probably would be. And I said, well, let me get to know him. I don't want to just be some random guy just walk up to him and be like, hey, man, listen, do you want to do a podcast with me?
Yeah, yeah, no, you did it. Look, we did become friends and start talking about the business, and I understand where you're coming from because I have a son your age, and technical stuff. I don't. I'm old school. I mean, if my TV goes out, I ask my son, "Hey, dude, how do you fix this?" so so I think we're the perfect match, man. Plus, old school, new school too. You know what I mean? And that's a good combo.
Yeah, yeah. Because I when he told me when he came back from Wrestlecon, he was like, this man, he sat me down for 3.5 hours and told me all the stories. He's like, man, I ran into all these people, and I ran into Scott Armstrong, and he gave me a hug, and he said he thought I was dead.
Hey, I'm telling you, that dude could work. On the indie circuit, we would show up at shows, and him and his partner, was it Randy?
Randy Harris.
Yeah,
Outside Trash or the Georgia Boys.
And so we would see that they were there, and if it was me and my dad or me and my brother or whatever the family combination was in the tag team match that night, whoever the promoter was, we would say, "Hey, can we have those guys? Can we work with them?" And it became so regular that we were doing stuff all over the South, indie shows, and we would have them everywhere because we were having unreal matches with those guys because they could go, and they were a really good. They knew how to work, and they knew how to work the Southern style, and they knew how to work with each other. Look, it's one thing in a tag match to work with the two other guys, but it's really big if you and your partner work together instead of single match, tag, another single match, tag out, another single match. You know what I mean? There's a formula to a tag match, and they were great together. They were, and it's a shame that they never had made it to the next plateau. You know what I mean? It really is because they were talented, and we had good match. So when I saw him at WrestleCon, I remembered him instantly. I mean, we had some really good, and they knew to take their time, and they knew when look, my dad he could command an audience without even trying, and those two dudes knew that, and so they'd work with him. But anyway, to see him at WrestleCon and just start shooting the breeze, and then him start talking about IWN, the Independent Wrestling Network, and everything the vision that he has, and you just go, wow, man, that's awesome. I would love to be a part of it. And I think his app, it's just a week or two or something from
we're close. I seen it today. Basically just the demo of it. It's been approved by Apple. They're finalizing the touches on it. And
awesome.
Phase 1 should be out soon for purchasing, for people to download on Apple and Android devices. It's the Independent Wrestling Network. You can find us on Twitter, which I run all that too. So, but basically it's going to have podcasts and places for wrestlers to book and awesome. Things like that. And it's a big. I'm hoping it takes off. I really do.
Yeah, me too.
I think he's got a good idea with it, and I'm really happy to be a part of it.
Yeah, me too. I want to be a part of it, and I think he knows that. I've let him know it.
Yep.
It's fun to go do it. I did one of his shows in Lovejoy, Georgia, and there was Teddy Long, and I hadn't seen Teddy. Oh my gosh, I don't even know how long. And to be able to hug his neck and just talk about old times, it was the best. It was the best. So I know Dwayne uses likes to use talent, and
Yep.
he had is it John Grisham? Was that
John
his name?
Gresham. Yes.
Yeah,
He.
and ROH champion.
Yes, sir. The Ring of Honor champion. Works
He
for
had him.
AEW.
He had
He
him
was
on the
on a
show.
couple weeks ago. We've had Baron Black, who's been in AEW. We've actually got our, like you mentioned, our big show in July at the Upson County Civic Center, July
Yeah.
23rd. We are still piecing some things together, but I can tell you we've got Tommy Dreamer, your brother.
Awesome.
Your brother's
Yeah.
going to be there. Road Dogg's
Yeah.
going to be there. Scott Steiner's coming. Recent WWE Hall of Famer, Scott Steiner.
I just saw his brother at NXT. I want to say maybe it was December. Saw his brother came down there because his son, Rick Steiner's son, Braun Breaker, was on the show, and it was a big show. And Rick came down, and I hadn't seen him. I hadn't seen him in forever, and he's just the same. Oh man, it was the best. I told him too. I said, dude, remember that time me and my brother Steve worked against you and your brother, and I literally went to leapfrog you, and you just caught. I was going to leapfrog him and then drop kick him, and when I went up for the leapfrog, he just grabbed me out of the air and planted me with a slam, and I didn't know that was coming, and it knocked the breath out of me so bad that I remember hitting the mat and going, oh, and he just looked down with a big grin and said, are you still breathing? And I said, oh, dude, I didn't know that was coming. And he said, and he just started grinning and said, well, just lay there a minute. And he walked over and tagged his brother. His brother came in and just beat the shit out of me. Oh, man. I said, you are such a heel.
That's
also,
awesome.
I'll give you a great Rick Steiner. Well, so me and my brother Steve, we fly into Atlanta. I think the show from Pensacola, and the show I think was like in Gainesville, Georgia. But anyway, we get the rent a car. We're driving up I-75, and we come up on Rick Steiner, Scott Steiner, and Big Boss Man's in the back seat. And so we wave and they wave, and we're about to see them. We're doing TV in the towns. We're about to see them all day. And as we keep going, all of a sudden there's a guy driving his car, and his girlfriend is laying across the seat with her feet out the window. And so, the first thing my brother said is, man, if they get too close to something sticking up out of the ground, it's going to cut her foot off. Well, the guy ends up getting over into the fast lane and went on I-75. And when he does, from way behind us comes Rick Steiner in that car, and he just reaches out and grabs her foot. Dude, we laughed. That girl came sitting up out of that seat. It was the quickest ab crunch setup you've ever seen. I mean, screaming. We laughed so hard. And Rick pulled back up beside us with that gremlin smile. Oh my God. Hey, I'll give you another. I told Braun Breaker the story about his dad. So when I talked about refereeing for WCW, and this was about, I want to say 3 weeks to a month before the whole, Vince takeover thing, the WWE taking it over. And so we're at a show, and so when I was refereeing, I wear glasses, and so I would take my glasses off, and I would sit them on top of my bag, so that when I came back in, I didn't have to squint and look. I knew where they would be. And so I come in, I referee the match, and I walk back in the locker room, and the bags are everywhere. And Rick Steiner and Chuck Palumbo, do you remember Chuck Palumbo?
Yeah. Yep.
And so Rick Steiner and Chuck Palumbo are in a full shoot wrestling match. And what I mean by wrestling is there's nobody throwing fists. There's nobody cussing each other. It's just, hey, let's see who the best man is. And I didn't get to see how it started. I only got to walk in and see that where my bag originally was, it's not there. and being blind, it's not cool because now I see these guys and they're going hard at it, and it hits me. Dang, what if one of these guys gets hurt, man? And I, I, Rick Steiner, I'm trying to step over, but I don't want to say anything because I don't want to get beat up. I don't want to be in the middle of that. And he goes, "What are you doing, Armstrong?" And I said, "My glasses. Where is my bag?" And he goes, "Okay, time out." And he hooks Chuck Palumbo like in this hole where Chuck can't move, and he just stops and he said, "Okay, get your glasses." And I said, "Oh, okay." And I found my bag. I put my glasses on, and I said, "Hey, guys, now keep in mind, all the boys are like in a giant circle around the room watching this. And, and who am I but the old guy going?" And I said, "Hey, guys, this is like millions of dollars worth of talent. Somebody could get hurt." And when I said that, the whole locker room just healed on me and said, "Get out of here, man. Get out of here." And they literally went right back to just stretching each other. Oh, man. Rick Steiner, they were good dudes to me, man, both of them. A family, you know what I mean? Wrestling families.
Yeah, yeah.
Something about wrestling families.
That's crazy. So talking about his son, Braun Breaker,
Yeah.
how much immense talent does he just ooze out, man?
Oh, dude, he gets it. You know what I mean? He's a second generation. Watched his dad, watched his uncle, um, and he's. I'm gonna tell you, when he came to NXT, uh, I remember he came in for a tryout, and my brother and I had been there for the classes during the day, and we were backing out, and he was walking across the parking lot, and my brother blew the horn, and he kind of turned around and grinned and waved, and my brother said, "You know who that is?" And I said, "No." And he said, look into his face real good." And I said, "Okay." My brother blew the horn again, and then he turned around and started smiling, and he kind of waved again, and I said, "I still don't know." He said, "That's Ricky Steiner's son." And we had heard that he had a son that was going to try out. We just didn't know when. We weren't in the no when it came to that kind of when the tryouts were or anything like that. And so we pulled up and talked to him then. Said, "Man, please tell your dad hello." And so introduced ourselves, and after that, that dude is just a sponge. He asked good questions. You look, in wrestling, there are no bad questions. They're just questions,
Mm.
and people ask questions to learn, and he did, and he wasn't scared to do it. He would constantly ask us about, well, where should I be here, and how should I react to this, and blah blah blah. And we just kept telling him, "Dude, it's going to come to you. You're going to get it." And they would, the more he worked in the ring, the more he picked stuff up. And look, when you have guys at that school like Fit Finley that are in the ring with you, that are, he's taking you down and sweating on with you. I mean, man, Robbie Brookside, a legendary British wrestler who knows the ins and outs of that style. And you got guys like that working with him and teaching him. And I mean, Fit Finley, whether anybody knows it or not, one of the most brilliant minds in our industry, my opinion, but I have a feeling a lot of people would second that. And people go, "Oh, I watched him wrestle." No, I'm not talking. Look, he was a great wrestler, great. Knew when and when not to, as far as everything went. But as far as teaching, man, that dude, his talent never stops, and Fitz like fourth generation in the wrestling industry. And in Ireland, his entire family, grandfather, dad, sister was a referee. I mean, dude's just in it. And so, and now his kids are. And so to have a guy like that that's teaching Braun Breaker, man, that kid's he's gonna be a star. I mean, he already is, but he's gonna be a big star.
Yeah,
So I
yeah.
look forward to watching him.
I so I whenever I first seen him pop in NXT, I was like, whoa, this
Yeah,
kid has that that not many other people have yet to
Yeah,
find at his age, at his beginnings of his career. It's charisma, it's in-ring ability.
he gets
I
it.
yep. I was like, man, this he made me tune into NXT.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. He's a ratings guy. He is the
uh,
ratings guy. He helps for sure.
because a lot of people, me included, were kind of weary when NXT went from the black and yellow to the 2.0 of
Yeah,
what is this going to be?
yeah,
What is the plans for this? And then I seen them bring in Braun Breaker, and I was like, okay, I know where they're going.
yeah,
I was like, yep,
yeah,
they're building this kid and everybody around him, not just him, but
yeah.
everybody
No,
who else is down there. I mean, they're
everybody started. Yes, when they changed the brand, everybody started getting a chance. Look, I was a big fan of the way it was, but like I'd said in the last episode, in our industry, you have to be open to change, and they made the change, and then it just went in a different direction. And I
yeah,
enjoy watching it now. I really enjoy watching it because, um, I mean, the whole crew, I knew, you know what I mean? They're all young people, and they all wanted it. You know what I mean? I
yeah,
want to be there. I want to be part of something. And when it changed, it started changing on the like in the dressing room too, in the locker room too. Look, I was responsible for all the referees with NXT and all the referees in the UK, and so for NXT UK, and so here we had or I say here in Orlando at the time with NXT, we had the first in history of the business all referee tryout, and we had they flew in 10 people and put them up, and they had 2 days of trying out, and some some people that tried out had no clue um, how. Look, you can work on the indies and totally not know the style of WWE, even though you watch it every week, because
yeah,
there's a different style. And so some people look, if you're coachable, you can, if you're coachable and and you're an athlete and have some common sense, you could possibly make it as a referee or a wrestler. But you got to have all three of those. And some people do and some people don't. And but we did have a good group, and they came in and we hired four. And I think three are still there. And so it's cool for me to watch on a Tuesday night and be able to see, who's getting the opportunity, because I was the one assigning each referee to each match, because you know which referee, like some referees are good at tag spots, or tag matches, I should say. And some referees are good at singles matches. And then you have the referees that you 100% can count on for the main events. And for NXT, Da Brewer. Oh, they made them all change their names, so now I have no clue what all their. They all changed their names, but Da Brewer, he knows who he is. Daryl Sharma, Tom Castor, they were three dudes that I truly relied on. And Aja is now on the main roster with WWE. So it was cool to see her to get the call up, and I look forward to. I've seen Da on a few, and also Daryl. So Tom's been out with a couple of injuries, but I'm sure he's getting back in, and hopefully it won't be long to see him up there. So it's very pleasing knowing how much I love the business and have loved it, to be able to see young people get their break and get the opportunity to share the same stuff. You know what I mean?
yeah.
Look, the hotels, the rent a cars, and the early flights, nobody loves that kind of stuff. But it's part of the game. It's part of the addiction that is wrestling.
The addiction. So that's funny that you use that terminology. This morning when I got off shift at the fire station, right before I did, my lieutenant called me, and he's like, "Dude." I answered the phone. I didn't know what was going on. When he calls me, I never know. And the first thing he goes, "Dude, I've been thinking about something." I said, "Oh God." And he goes, I've been watching this YouTube channel, and I think you should look into something like this where you interview wrestlers and talk about their addiction to wrestling because this YouTube channel is about addiction to drugs, but you should do addiction to wrestling. And I'm like, I don't know if that's an addiction.
Yeah, no, dude, it is an addiction, and I'll give you the scenario. You if you're sitting at your house and somebody said, "Hey, Big Mike, you can drive 7 hours away from your home for $50, and you can get in front of a crowd of people for 7 minutes and be Big Mike, and then drive 7 hours home. Would you do it?" And from sitting in your recliner, you go, "There's no way I would ever do that," until you do it. And then you do it that first time, and you go, "God, I love this feeling, man. It's fun. It's to be able to look. I loved wrestling. I loved getting in the ring because I'd watched my dad do it, and my family ended up. Everybody did it. Me, all my brothers, and my dad, and so I loved it. But the reality was, when you got in the ring, for me personally, it was a total release. I could release look, the guy that pulled out in front of me, the girl that didn't put my fries in the bag in the drive-through, the girl at the grocery store that cut in line, everything in life that people nowadays become a Karen or whatever they call a Ken. Everybody gets hot and goes nuts nowadays. I could bottle all that up during the day, and then at night I got to get in the ring and just release it all. And during that 8 minutes or whatever it was, no bills were due. Nobody was giving me any crap about anything. It was just me doing what I loved. And so after getting the opportunity to do just that, you go, "Yeah, I'll drive the 7 hours for $50 and drive back." That's not even an issue.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the addiction issue. I mean, look, WWE, everybody there makes really good money. And so um, you love the money, of course. But look, I would leave when I was a ref. Sometimes I was gone 5.5 days. I'd be home a day and a half. I'd be home 36 hours. And there's a lot of people that are like that. It wasn't just me. There was a lot of referees and wrestlers, and not just that, but announcers and all the things that go into it. And, look, you do make good money, so you're able to provide a really nice lifestyle for the people you love. But the wear and tear, like my wife now, she goes to work and I'm out back grilling or putting a towel on the chair. Oh, it's heat. I mean, she gets hot. She's used to me never being here. You know what I mean? Calling from the Marriott, going, "Hey, well, how you doing, honey?"
That's. But you got to travel. You got to see the world, man. And that's
I did.
that a
I
lot
was
of people.
dude, afforded to. I mean, the things that I've seen and done in places I've been, it's amazing, man. It really is. I just talked to my son. We saw something on TV the other day about it was in Cape Town, South Africa, and we had run that. And my son said, "Dad, didn't you go there?" And I said, "Yeah, I sure did. I'll never forget. I was with, I know we talked about Edge last time. We'll talk about Christian this time." So Christian and I were walking down the street, and there's like restaurants on both sides of the street. And all of a sudden in that, in their, accent, you hear, "Christian, Christian." And he would turn and look and turn and look. And we're just walking down the street looking at restaurants. We're being tourists. And all of a sudden here came, and there were like open air restaurants, and here came the employees. It was, young people, and they were just running out of the thing. And their managers of the restaurants were coming out screaming at them. but they wanted to see Christian. That's how over WWE was at the time. I'm sure probably even more over now, but that's how over it was with the people. Is they would run away from their job just to see a WWE superstar like Christian. It was crazy, and he was going, "Hey, this is Scott Armstrong," and I was laughing because I was just a referee and I had glasses. They don't know me, but they knew him. Oh, it was unreal. Unreal. Johannesburg was the same way. But to be able to go to those places and see the cultures. I mean, I told this on my brother's podcast. We went to Egypt, and we rode camels at the foot of the pyramids. I mean, who does that in a lifetime? You know what I mean? That's just all. And I was afforded all that awesomeness by wrestling. You know what I mean? By WWE specifically, but to go all over the UK and just really blessed, man. All because I love wrestling. You know what I mean? That's the way I see it. The only negative was, it's very cool to do stuff like that with your boys or with your friends. It's just when you don't have family with you and you're doing something that cool. Look, today I'm in my house and there ain't nobody from the wrestling business with me. Not my brother, not an old tag team partner, not anything. It's just me. So who am I going to tell the story about going to Egypt to? You know what I mean? I tell you, but you can't share it. Like if my wife or my kids were with me, man, that's the only thing that would make it over the top. To go, really cool, and I loved it. It was really awesome. But sometimes when you send home a really cool picture of you sitting on a camel at the foot of the pyramids, it's not the same joy from the wife who didn't get to go and is here taking care of the kids. Mike, you're married.
Yeah. We I want to. I could see that because I want to travel the world, but now that I have kids, I want them to travel with me.
Right, you do,
But
right?
yep,
It's true.
not at the age they're at now because 7
Yeah.
days in Panama City, I was ready to pull my own hair out.
Yeah, hey man, that's family. That is dude. My daughter. So my daughter now is 30 and my son's 28, and so uh, growing up, she always said, "Oh, I'm going to be a wrestler too. I'm going to be a wrestler too." And so, look, I didn't want my daughter in the wrestling business. It's hard enough being on the road all the time and the injuries. And we'll do a whole hour on injuries, the injuries that I've had, and who gave them to me. But I just didn't want her to do it. But it was her dream, and so what can you do, right? I mean, you want your child to do what they loved, and I had the opportunity to do it, and she wanted the opportunity, and she fit the bill. She cut a good promo. I mean, she had a tryout, and they didn't take her. And Hunter came to me and said, "Hey, look, are you looking for her to be hired by the company?" And I literally told him, I said, "Dude, if she can't be good at this, why would I want her in it? I mean, I want her to earn it." That's basically what I told him. I want her to earn it. If she doesn't earn it herself, I don't want her in it. I didn't want to be, "Oh, well, we'll hire her because she's your daughter." I didn't want that because that's not true. And you know what I mean? It's not true to the heart. And so I told her that. I said, "Look, if you don't make it," well, come to find out, when I finally, nobody wants to hurt your feelings about your daughter. And so nobody would come to me and go, "Scott, she's horrible in the ring." But I did have one person who I'll let remain nameless just to do it. But they came to me and said, "I'm going to be very honest with you. She's got two left feet." They said her promo was your dad, your brother. It was awesome, but she's got two left feet. And if she wants this, she can go to work on the indies and keep going. And now she's like a supervisor with Navy Federal Credit Union and has my only grandchild, a little boy who's 4, and She's in a good marriage. My son-in-law is a good dude, and so, I'm a firm believer in the everything happens like it's supposed to method, and I do feel like everything happened like it's supposed to. When I was training her uh, before her tryout, I slammed her, and she came up taking deep breaths, and I said, "Are you okay?" And she goes, "That's just my ribs." And I said, "Well, girl, that's the way this is." I said, "You got to learn how this works." I said, "You hurt every match. You don't just hurt one match. You hurt every match." And she said, "Okay." I bet I slammed her 10 more times, only for her 2 days later to go to the hospital and her ribs were broken. And there I was, just slamming her over and over. And I thought, oh, what kind of dad just slams his own daughter? But hey, we're in a crazy business, and I've apologized. She holds it over my head now. That was a long time ago, and now she says, "Oh yeah, remember when you tried to kill me and puncture my lung, Dad? Remember that?"
That's funny.
uh,
That's funny. I used to do wrestling moves on my younger sister as a kid on a trampoline. And I think I came really close to breaking her nose one day with a Hulk Hogan leg drop.
oh yeah, man, yes. Oh yeah, I can remember we'd watch our dad wrestle on TV. I mean, four sons, and then pull the coffee table back, and it was like a battle royal. And my mom, just bless her, God bless her heart, rest her soul. She was, man. I used to say, "Oh yeah, my mom." Look, back in the day, old school moms. We grew up in the state of Georgia, and old school moms, they always had that hickory switch, and it would stay. My mom's always stayed on the refrigerator, and she would grab that thing. We would run in 30 directions, and so and so she and how she managed four sons that were hellions and the sons of wrestlers. I mean, of a wrestler, that you just go, God, how did she do it? But she would grab, if we tried to take off, she would grab us by the wrist like that. I used to say she had the best wrist lock in the history of the business. She did, man. Yeah, it was the death grip. I don't know how she did it. I really don't. God bless
That's
her heart.
that's awesome, man.
She
Moms
was a
are
good
moms
woman.
are something else.
Yes, they are, brother. Yes, they are. Man.
So moving into the next little bit, I wanted to talk about what happened on Twitter today. You posted a post on Twitter. People can go back and look at it, but somebody shared with you a photo from 2008,
Yes, yes.
WrestleMania 24.
Yep. Yeah, I got the uh, that that wasn't today though, was it? Wasn't that a few
Was
weeks ago?
I think it was a few weeks ago. Yep.
It was.
It was a few weeks ago. Somebody shared a picture with you. Um, you said, "Happy Tuesday. Thanks to the person who sent me this pic. Fun memories working with these two men." This was WrestleMania 24 from 2008.
Yes.
You
I
happened to be the referee of one of the big matches that night.
yes, I was very fortunate. They had asked me, I don't know, about 2 weeks before WrestleMania. They said, "Hey, we're gonna," they had already started on Raw, Floyd Mayweather and Big Show, and I think they fought outside the ring, and Floyd literally hit Big Show in the nose and broke his nose. And and man, anybody that never saw that, if you have the opportunity to go back and watch just Big Show's reaction, because of course you don't stand backstage and go, "And then hit me right in the nose and break it." You don't do that. And when he hits Big Show in the nose and you see Big Show, that's the kind of guy you just don't want to piss him off, and you could see he was pissed off. And so that had already been going for a while on Raw, and then about 2 weeks out, they came and said, "Hey, we want you to referee the match, Big Show against Mayweather." And I just went, "That would be awesome." And it was, man. Oh my God, it was. I had such a good time, and flew me out to they flew me out to Vegas because that's where Mayweather. I don't know where he lives now, but that's where he was living at the time, and he may still be there. But anyway, flew me out there. He had a ring set up. Um, and got in the ring with him, and just had a good time getting to know the dude. Because I'm gonna be honest with you, I'll tell you a story that I hope I never see him again because it would beat my brains out. But Triple H was there too, and so the guy was, the first time ever meeting him, he kind of treated me, because I was the ref. He kind of treated me very, very, very less than, and I'm talking about the immediate meeting. It was just like, yeah, what up? And then, hey, get that for me. And finally, I looked at Hunter and said, hey, because I didn't follow boxing and I didn't know him. I just knew what they had done on TV with him, and I knew he was supposed to be really fast with his fists. And Hunter said, I said, hey, is this guy an asshole or what's his story? And he said, hey, man, you better hold your breath there. That dude, if he punches you, you're gone. I said, well, I immediately said, well, he's got to catch me first. I said, if I take him down, he can't punch me. And he said, Hunter started laughing so hard. He goes, you Armstrongs, man, I swear to God. He said, dude, do not pick a fight with this guy. I'm telling you. And I said, well, what's his issue, man? And look, I was in my 40s, late 40s already. And he goes, he doesn't have one. Will you just relax? And I said, okay. Well, sure enough, over the next, we were in the ring a couple of hours. He warmed up and we got along great. And when we ended up, he ended up flying to a town where WWE had a ring set up, and we spent a few more hours. So I was around him probably 8 or 10 hours of just us in the ring, 5 different people. And so just teaching him about our business, and he got to crash course. And so then after the show in Mania, man, he was such a grateful, good-hearted dude and so kind to my family. And just, I mean, I've been wrong about a lot of things, but I've never been so wrong about my first impression with that dude. And people go, oh, yeah, he's an arrogant. Hey, look, that's how he came off to me when I first met him. But once I got to know him as a human being, holy mackerel, what just a kind-hearted, giving dude, just really a good dude. And Big Show, I've known him. Big Show, I got to tell you this story, and I know we're knocking on the door of time, but so
I think we got time for it.
okay, so Big Show, we're in WCW, and they brought Big Show in as the Giant, and he was Andre's son, and everybody in the world saw through that. But anyway, he was 7 feet tall and a big young guy, and so they brought him right. His first match was against Hulk Hogan on a pay-per-view. You know what I mean? I mean, he started at, you don't get any more on the top than where Big Show started in the business. And so he goes, and so this is like what I was telling the story, I think, on our last episode about the Disney tapings, and we'd do 10 days in a row or whatever. And so Paul Orndorff was one of the producers at the time for WCW. And so Paul comes to me and says, hey, Scotty, I want you, and I'd known Paul since I was like 14, with my dad and everything. So he goes, hey, Scott. So Paul was like an uncle, and so he goes, Scotty, I want you to take this outfit. And it was a full body suit with a mask. And he said, and find somebody else that's about your size. I want them to wear this other bodysuit. So he gives me two bodysuits, 2 masks. And he goes, and I want y'all to work with this kid right here. And he pointed at Big Show. And Big Show, I'm telling you, in his 20s and raw and ready to go. And I just started laughing, and I said, Paul, that dude is not going to listen to me. You know he's not. And he goes, the hell he's not. And he goes, hey, kid, come here. And Big Show says, yes, sir. And he goes, this is Scott Armstrong. He's been in the business as long as you've been alive. He's going to tell you everything to do in this match, and you need to do it. And he went, yes, sir. And then Paul walked away, and Big Show looked at me and said, what do you want me to do? And dude, we've been boys ever since then, because he did everything I explained to it. He didn't, he knew how Andre had worked because he had watched him growing up, but he didn't know how he actually worked in the ring. And they said, we want all the old Andre stuff. We want the two headlocks and coconut their heads together, and we want all that. We want two of y'all in the corner and running his ass into you in the. Yes, sir. I said, Paul, if that's what you want, that's what we'll do, and that's what we did. And the last time I saw Big Show, we literally talked about that moment in time where he said, remember when I first started? He said, that was like my second or third match, man. It was you and some other guy. And he said Paul said for me to choke slam both of you. We had masks on, and he said, and the other guy goes, hey, can you choke slam me first? And I said, yeah, we definitely. That meant I'm getting choke slammed on top of the dude, so my landing is going to be soft. I said, yeah, we can definitely do it that way. And that was Big Show, as years went on, would do the choke slam, hand on the throat, and as they go up, he would put his hand like on your butt and guide you down. But at that time, he was in his 20s, and man, he choke slammed you. I'm telling you, there was no, it was brutal. So it was a blessing for me to be able to land on top of a dude. That was cake.
I'm sure it was. But man, that's another good one, man. That's another good one. I had some other notes written down about that WrestleMania. That was the same Mania that Ric Flair had his moment.
Yeah, no, dude. So not to take the shine off of Flair, but that match, I'll never forget. Mayweather got in the ring, and he was tense because it wasn't his world. You know what I mean? Boxing's his world. He trains and he gets in that ring and he knows what he's doing, bob and weave, whatever. But he got in the ring and it was almost like he froze. And I literally went, hey, man. And and I'm the ref. And he just looked at me and I said, take a breath, man. You're ready for this. We're both ready for this. And he just smiled real big and went, and he took the breath. And then he was great. And I've gone back and watched that match thinking, that's a dude that did not know our business at all and got a crash course and did awesome. You know what I mean? When I say don't know our business, I think he watched, but he didn't do it in the ropes. And, until you do it in the ropes, hey, man, come on. Michael Jordan, 1,000 free throws a day is what he did to become Michael Jordan, the star. You know what I mean? And so if you don't practice, I mean, preparation, man. If you don't prep, nobody just walks into the ring and is great. I promise you, nobody. Yeah. And there's people that pick it up faster than others and people that don't. But he picked it up pretty good, man. He really did. He did a great job. And, man, huge box office at the time, too. That was the money match. I mean, that's a huge match that night. So it was awesome to be a part of, that's for sure, and to be asked to referee that match.
Yep. I remember that one from 2008. I was in middle school, and it was a tradition. I'd go to my grandparents' house. We'd watch WrestleMania and order Papa John's.
Oh, yeah, man. Another possible sponsor.
I'm going to have to call Papa.
Yeah. And book ScottArmstrong.com.
BookScottArmstrong.com. If you're looking at this video, it's at the bottom. Email it, BookScottArmstrong.com.
Yeah. Email that, BookScottArmstrong.com. I'm available. Well, probably available. I do have some stuff this summer. But
he's pretty booked with IWN and Main Event Wrestling right now.
Yeah. But I'd much rather fly to your house and cook you a big dinner. Rather do that.
I'm still waiting on that.
Yeah. Dude, I got to tell you this right quick. So I'm at the gas station of all places, and a guy goes, hey, man, you're one of the Armstrongs. And I said, yes, sir. How you doing? And he goes, so my son said that you put pictures on Twitter or something. He said, I'm not on Twitter, but my son said you put something on there about food and you cooked a cake and all. I said, that don't sound so tough, man. And I just smiled real big and I said, well, I can pull your eye out or make you a cupcake. Which would you rather me do? And he went, hey, wait a minute, man. I just started laughing. I said, dude, I'm messing with you. I'm old. I'd much rather make you a cupcake.
Much rather cook that cupcake.
Yes.
Hey, there's nothing wrong with being with cooking, man. I love it.
I do. What I love more than cooking is eating it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Uh,
yep. I love people laugh at me all the time because I'm a barbecuer. They're like, man,
yeah,
it takes patience to sit there for 12 to 15 hours and cook a piece of meat.
yeah.
And
Hey,
I'm
it
like,
does. But the payoff, man. Oh,
that's
the
that
payoff.
that's it, the payoff, man. When you put that sweet, smoky, savory piece of meat,
Amen.
man.
Amen.
And then it's even better when I love to cook for people. I love for other people to go, man,
Sure.
this is the best barbecue I've ever eaten.
Yes.
And it's
Yeah.
like, yeah, yeah. And then
We got up the other morning, my wife. So, you know, the little crescent roll, you buy the roll of them, Pillsbury. Hey, Pillsbury, holla at your boy. So it's the Pillsbury crescent rolls, right? And there's like, they got the little dots. You just tear them apart. So I woke up and I always try to fix something different in the morning time. And so I literally took a scoop of grape jelly, in four of them, a scoop of grape jelly, and just popped it down in there and rolled it up. And then the other four I did like ham and cheese. And so I put them, because it comes with 8, and I put them in the oven. My wife came in and said, what did you make? And I said, oh, these crescent rolls, they're probably the best you've ever had. I said, don't eat the ham and cheese ones first. Try this one. And literally, dude, all I did was scoop out grape jelly out of the jar, pop it in there. But it was warm. My mouth's watering telling you the story right now. And she took the first bite and went, oh my God, that is so good. I just started laughing because it was really nothing. You know what I mean? Nothing homemade about it. All I did was scoop out jelly out of a jar, put it in there, and warm it. You know what I mean? It baked inside the biscuit, inside the crescent roll. And I never stooged myself off that I wasn't a freaking culinary genius.
man,
Oh man,
I'll be making that soon.
yeah.
I make
Your kids would love it.
I bet they would. I make a breakfast casserole with crescent rolls.
Oh yeah,
Lay
I've done. I know what you're talking about.
Open them out, put the eggs in there with sausage, bacon, top it with
Yes,
cheese.
I've done that. I've done that on big, like when my daughter comes over with the grandson.
Yep.
That's
Yep.
easy and quick
Yes.
and easy and good.
I can make 2 pans of it and feed my whole family.
Oh, I love
So
it.
when we
I
go on
love it.
when we do our family vacation, that's what we eat.
Yeah, it's the
So,
best, man.
yep. But
Family, everything.
yes, sir. Yes, it is. That's the truth. But all right, man. I think we're coming towards the end of this one. This was a lot of fun.
Yes.
Next,
As always, if you're interested in sponsoring, give us a shout.
yep.
And what are all our Twitters and stuff, Mike?
So you can find me on Twitter at Big Mike the Host. You can find the legend Scott Armstrong at WWE Armstrong. You can find our podcast at Armstrong AVE Pod, Armstrong Avenue Pod. And you can always find the Independent Wrestling Network at IWN Network on Twitter.
Yes.
So hit us
All
up,
right.
man. Let us know what you think. We if you have any questions you want to ask Scott, just hit us up, tweet us.
Yeah, please, please. That's awesome. That's a great idea too. Yeah, I would love to get questions about the territory days and all the way up to NXT,
Yep.
right to
Yep.
the Indies.
So hit it. I'm gonna make some more posts. Anybody sees it, hit us up. You may get shouted out on our next episode. So until next
Holla.
time, brother. We
Thanks,
out.
dude. Appreciate it.